We learned about a lot of different ways of drawing in Illustrator in this chapter, and with this exercise I would like to concentrate on trying to show you how I normally combine these tools all together. So once again, just prove the point that you can be always more effective if you combine different techniques together instead of sticking to just like one tool for a whole drawing. So you can open up this file where I already set up everything. You should have a layer on top of that sketch layer where I have this drawing that I scanned in. I did this on paper, just a quick sketch to give us something to work from. Now this will be just my approach of drawing this in Illustrator. If you prefer to use different techniques, it's completely up to you. This is merely a suggestion. So I am going to start with a shape here on the top. I could use the pen tool to draw this line, of course, but just to show you a different method, I'm going to use the rounded rectangle tool. So I draw a shape up there, and it's almost fits already the head. But what I will do is remove the fill color, and I will change the stroke size slightly. Maybe actually keep it at 1 is fine. I'm just going to set it to red so we can see it better. Now then, even use the transform panel if you are a Creative Cloud user to change each corner size individually. I'm going to unlock this and I'm going to reduce the size of that corner, then change the size of that corner also individually. Then this one needs to be slightly smaller as well, like that. And then the other one can be slightly bigger. Something like that. Now, once I'm done with these, I can also select individual points and drag them around until I get that shape what we have in the background. See how quickly I managed to fit this here. Now up here we have a line that we can create with the ellipse tool just by drawing over it like that. Let's just align it. And I'm going to make it slightly different to the way it is on the actual drawing. Something like that. And then selecting these two shapes, I can use the shape builder to get rid of the part on top. So very quickly I managed to get that line in place. And then I can now switch to the pencil tool, for example, to draw this section here. And as long as you have the keep editing option on, you can continue drawing it. Then there's another ellipse there. So I use the ellipse tool, again the ellipse tool for this, an ellipse tool for the eye. And if I want to make it exactly the same size, just hold down Alt and drag with the selection tool. Then for these shapes, I could even switch to the blob brush tool. Let me just make it slightly smaller, and then we can paint over this part here. So that's one of the plasters, like that. And then if I want, I can always smooth these lines out. So I can select it, switch to the smooth tool, and just draw around it, around these shapes. And it's good to know that whenever you see that you are using the same color as the highlight color of your layer, you can double click on the layer and change the color. So instead of light red, I'm going to use something different like cyan that stands out a bit more so I can see my anchor points much better. And then once again, I can draw this other shape maybe with the ellipse tool because it's closer to an ellipse, like that. And then zoom in closer, maybe I'll change the color on it so just we can see that this is a different shape. And I'm going to select this point here and just amend the corners slightly, drag it out, select the other point, amend that as well using the handles, and maybe also drag it out slightly. For the neck, I'm going to start from around here and then click and drag to create a curve like that. I will press Shift X to set this to stroke color, and I'm just going to increase the stroke size and then switch to the width tool. Remember that's here, width tool, and I'm going to increase the one at the bottom and also increase the one on top to get it exactly into the shape I need. Once it's ready, I can just Object Expand Appearance. So now it became a filled shape. I can do the same thing with the head now and add the fill color on it. I'm going to just choose a color that stands out from the other colors, just say green. And then to make sure that the neck is not visible like this, I'm going to select it and use the shortcut to send it backwards, Command Shift or Control Shift square bracket. Or you can always go to the layers and drag it all the way at the bottom. So now it's all the way at the back, so it's not in the way. If I want this bottom part of the neck to be straight, I can select the eraser tool, hold down the Alt key and make it straight like that. And if I want to make it curved, I can just add an additional point on the bottom center like that. And then using the selection tool, I can drag it down and change it to a curved point up here. If I want, I can also, of course, make it a little bit more curved like that. Now we can continue drawing. Just to, again, vary a bit the techniques, I'm going to now use the pen tool to draw this shape here. And once we have it ready, I'll change the color of it. So I pick a color from the drawing with the eyedropper tool, send it again to the back. And then to draw that top half of this shape, I'm going to press Shift D until I have the draw inside mode selected. Then use the ellipse tool and draw an ellipse inside of this shape here. And if I change the color of it, we can see straight away that it's actually within that previous shape. I can press Shift D again to exit from drawing inside. And then just to make this look a bit better, I'm going to also flip the colors or swap the colors on the eyes and remove the outline because we don't need that stroke to be visible anymore. We can then select the stroke here on top, select the width tool to add a little bit of thickness on it. So I'm going to select the bottom end, drag it out like that. Maybe also make this side slightly wider. And then we can add a color on that circle at the end. I'm going to pick blue. And then for this shape up here, we can press Shift X, change the color once again. And then for the little circle in there, again, we can set it to a different color just to separate it for now and send it backward until it's behind that line. And selecting that line again, I can also make sure that within the stroke options, I use round cap. So at the end, it has a round shape instead of a straight one. And there's one more thing I would do here on this shape. I would just use the smooth tool to make it a little bit nicer and more fluid. And of course, if you want to check your drawing, you can always turn off the sketch layer and turn it back on to be able to continue. And don't worry about the colors, you can always change them later. What's more important is to build up all the shapes that you need to finish this drawing. Now, just like before, after this point, I'm going to speed up the way I draw everything, but I will primarily use the same tools that I already showed you, just combine them in different ways. And after you watch me doing this, you can try it yourself before you move on to the next chapter, where I will explain how to work with brushes.